Hello everyone and welcome to the other banner review. Somehow the other video was still long, but today we are going to be reviewing the other Secret of Mana banner, which has Randi and our wonderful little Flammie, just the cutest little dragon. So buckle in, here we go. We're going to be talking about just these two. Sorry Prim, sorry Pupui. We are only worried about the 5 stars. And first of all, let's talk about Randi, because honestly, I want to talk about this unit and forget about how confusing this guy is. First of all, let's talk about his TMR, the Mana Blade. 101 8 attack, 8 defense, 8 magic, 8 spirit. This thing is going to be, well, we're going to talk about it more in a minute. His Super Trust Mastery is a 50 attack when equipped with a sword, 30% to Esper stat from Esper stats, I should say, 15% to HP and MP. Again, fantastic Super TMR. Are you a Super Whale? And don't care. So maybe someday we'll see those Super TMRs, or Moogles, that we were promised. Anyway, first of all, Randi's 7-star sprite is definitely one of the more beautiful ones. I wish I could show it to you. I can kind of show it to you if I just... There it is! Isn't it beautiful? That's right, I'm getting my information off database today. Anyway, moving back to Randi. What does he get? Well, in his 7-star kit, he gets a Revive ability. He can drain some HP and MP. He gains a 600% 7-hit physical attack that adds light to his abilities, or he gets a version of it that adds dark to his abilities, or he gets an ability that gets fire added to his abilities, or he gets an ability that adds wind. Okay, we kind of get the point. Basically, one way or another, he can add elements to his abilities while doing a 7-hit attack. More interestingly is the fact that this guy can actually dual wield, or not dual wield, has Holy Explosion chain. Holy Explosion chaining. Dear God, was that difficult to say. But, interestingly, he has some different abilities as well. So, Light, Dark, and Fire are all 7-hit, 600% attacks that add the element to his attacks for 2 turns. But, and I may have misspoke a tiny bit, but please forgive me. Probably not, YouTube comments. Anyway, interestingly, he gains a Wind and an Earth ability that are 6-hit, 100% AoE, then AoE 1-hit, 230% physical attacks that ignore 50% defense and add either Wind or Earth to his abilities. Where have I heard those ability types before? CG Hayu abilities on Randi. What the hell? He also gains a single target 12-hit 600% physical attack that adds water to his abilities for 2 turns. Makes me wonder if he could be a possible partner to Titus, Tifa, or Sephiroth, if the frames are the same. Randi has become kind of interesting, but we're not done yet. He also has a cooldown ability that is a 12-hit physical attack for 1000% that is available Turn 2 on a 1-turn cooldown. So 1 turn on, 1 turn off. Okay, seems fine. He also has a single target 4-hit, 200% physical attack with a 60% defense debuff for 2 turns. Single target 1-hit, 600% physical attack on a 1-turn cooldown, available turn 2. So, again, interesting thing where 4 hits and then 1 hit, and he can defense debuff too. It's at 60%. It's actually really, really good. And his last cooldown ability is a self 1-turn, 75% damage versus beast, and then a single target 1-hit, 1700% physical attack on a 4-turn cooldown, available turn 5. So a big, big, big attack, but takes a long time to use. Now, in Randi's kit before now, he had extra damage from his killers versus beasts, undeads, and spirit and dragons. Now, other than that in his kit, he really didn't have much because of when he came out, but his enhancements kind of made up for that. For one thing, he gained 100% status ailment resistance, as well as MP and HP recovery per turn, and he got 100% attack when equipped with a sword, plus 100% attack when equipping one-handed weapon. Basically, for having his own TM, it kind of made up for it. That's 200% right there, you guys. Anyway, other than that, what was the big thing? Because other than that, his limit burst is, well, as a 7-star, it's a single target 11 hit, 1450% physical attack, which is kind of nice, but probably doesn't change with anyone. Let's talk about what he gets in his 7-star kit. So he gains, by equipping the Mana Blade, 75% killers versus beasts, dragons, fairies. Okay, these potentially very, very damaging to fairies and dragons and beasts. But he also gets an extra 100% when using one-handed weapons, and it enhances his limit burst, where he gives himself a 300% attack boost for 2 turns. Okay, now his limit burst is kind of totally worth it. 300% attack boost for 2 turns? My god. So what are we up to? That's about 300% in a lot of killers? Well, other than that, he also gains 20% to Spirit, 20% to MP, 40% light resistance, and a natural, which is really weird the way this is written. But an AoE plus 100% attack for 3 turns every turn. So every turn he's boosting the entire party's attack? Okay. 20% MP, 40% to attack, defense, and 240% modifier to a couple of his abilities, or one of his abilities, sorry, Swinging Slash, and 300% modifier to Full Moon, and Whirlwind Slash and Torrential Slash, gaining Limit Burst crystals and a 1.3 times increase to his Limit Burst damage. But really, his last ability is probably the one that where he can use 2 of his abilities in a turn, but as far as I know, really quickly checking, do they include his new abilities? I believe they do. I believe they do. This is kind of a big deal, where he can imbue himself with elements and do that twice in a turn. They've essentially done everything they could to make Randi amazing. And to be honest, I'm kind of impressed. I really am. I am actually very impressed. For one thing, his sprite is beautiful. 2, okay, the Mana Blade is not that great of a thing to be bound to, but there might be a couple of ways to build this guy. In general, he might be a lot stronger. Until I really get to try him out, I don't know. I really don't know. But he's perked my interest a little bit. Are his enhancements expensive? Never mind, it doesn't tell me on this site. So let's talk about the other unit, you guys, because it's not all about Randi. Hello to Flammie. Flammie is just the cutest little damn dragon. So let's talk about Flammie. Flammie is by far super interesting, at least for his Trust Mastery, which is a 50 attack, 20 HP, 20% HP, sorry, accessory. Now that accessory is just great. It's a high attack, high statted accessory. Yeah, just a much better version of Dash's earrings. Now, Flammie's Super Trust Mastery is a 60% attack materia, 50% extra damage versus beasts, fairies, or reapers. Huh, I can see my breath in here. That's not okay. I might have to turn up the heat a bit, you guys. That really distracted me. Now, Next up is his abilities. Now he can add wind and light to his attack for 3 turns. He also has a bunch of AoE attack. Well, one AoE attack can 300% and fills the summon gauge for 1 crystal. Okay, alright. He has Revive in his kit. Super. He has an AoE 1500% HP heal with a 3.4 times mod, adding light to himself for 3 turns. At least I believe it is light. If it adds light to the whole party, holy crap, is this dragon amazing. But it doesn't say AoE, so it's probably not. Shucks, one day maybe. Interestingly, he has 2 jump abilities, one that debuffs attack, one that debuffs magic for 50% each for 5 turns, and does 550% physical damage. And I believe both of these are time jumps, so they can be chained into. Also something to be mentioned is I was wrong. This dragon can equip armor and weapons. Daggers, swords, staffs, lances, which is really what we're interested in here, flails, and fists. So, pretty good weapon selection. Naturally in his kit, in 6-star, he has an AoE 70% buff to light and wind resistance for 3 turns, filling the gauge. 2 Esper crystals. He has an AoE 60% attack and defense for 3 turns to all your allies, and a 20% physical damage mitigation for allies for 3 turns, filling the summon gauge 2 crystals. He has the same version, but for magic that reduces magic damage by 20% for 3 turns and fills the summon gauge, of course. Now, 7-star abilities. He has a AoE 100% debuff for light and wind resistance for 2 turns. Okay, seems alright. Basically, it's on a 3-turn cooldown, available turn 4, and still hits the enemy for 750% physical attack. Nice. That seems like everyone can debuff light resistance now for 100%. Incoming bosses with 500% light resistance. Now, other than that, Flammie has some amazing cooldown abilities coming up. For 90 MP each, he either has an AoE 150% to magic and spirit for 3 turns, AoE 100% light resistance for 3 turns, add light to his attack for 3 turns. That's on a 4-turn cooldown, but available turn 1. Then he has an AoE plus 150% to attack and defense for 3 turns, with the wind resistance and wind added to attacks. Pretty cool. His last ability is an AoE 2 times 225% physical attack. So if he's dual wielding, new arena 4-hitter that is non-elemental. Flammie's might be showing up in some arena teams. Now, passive-wise, 20% attack, 20% defense, 50% natural killers to beast, reapers, and fairies. It's Randy's best friend. He has 100%... I'm not reading Randy again, am I? No, it's okay, guys. Self, 100 MP recovery. He can ignore fatal attacks when he's above 40%, and more importantly, he recovers 10% MP per turn. Nice. Love the bigger MP regen. 30% extra to attack and defense. Naturally immune to sleep and confuse. 30% more to attack, HP, and MP. Now, in his 6-star kit, interestingly, he gets 100% attack bonus when two-handing a weapon, 40% to wind and light resistance, 25% extra damage against everything we've named earlier. He gains 20% extra Esper stats, so that's kind of cool. And in his 7-star for equipping his TMR, which, why the hell wouldn't you, 50% attack, 50% attack when two-handing, plus 1 limit burst crystal per turn. So, he's a true dual hand unit. Two dual paw unit. Totally worth the joke. Interestingly, now this is one of the weirdest abilities because it is a passive. Plus 10% attack when unarmed, self 10% physical damage reduction permanently at the start of battle, blind and petrify resist. So he's blind and petrified, but if he doesn't have any weapons equipped. He has 10% physical damage reduction. Okay, but not really sure why. Then he gives himself 20% to spirit, and last 20% to HP, MP, and a self 50 MP recovery per turn, I guess? The dragon's got a lot of mana. Other than that, his limit burst turned out to be a maxed out AoE 54% damage reduction for the one turn, as well as an AoE 70% reduction to the enemy's resistance of fire. No, it's not an enemy debuff, it's a buff, sorry. 70% buff to your party for fire, water, wind, earth, light, and darkness for 3 turns. Okay. Whew. Now that I'm done talking, let's talk a little bit more. So what do I think of this banner? Out of the 2 of them, this one I like better. One thing, you only have 2 5 stars on it, which makes it easier to get both of these units. For one thing, I think Flammie's a really decent support. Definitely not as good as Riaz, though. Randi, on the other hand, he's kind of special. He's like a limited time CG Hayu who loses out to CG Hayu because CG Hayu has triple cast. It doesn't really matter at that point. But I don't want to knock Randi. They basically tried to give Randi everything they could. And to an extent, I think they succeeded. Randi is a very good unit. Tons of natural passives. The only thing, though, is that you really have to equip his TMR to get that extra bonus and killer. So basically, they tried to make up for the fact that you're always going to be stuck with that sword. And that's kind of my only problem with him. Other than that, I think both of the units are quite awesome, and if nothing else, the dragon should be pulled because the dragon is cute, adorable, and he's a team player. And really, that's pretty damn good. So that's all for this banner review. Unit reviews will come later. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video.